the power and indeed the pace of the man up front, because he is a time trialist. I didn't note which gearing he was using, but he kind of looked like he's got a more souplesse about him, and he was really pushing on. There's some, this is Mashishik just coming up to disturb the chase, try and knock that back. So Bahrain victorious, making a nuisance themselves. I like to see that.
Yeah, he's coming up trying to give them the evil so they would stop. But I think that UNOX are fairly well committed to this.
Well, 54, then 48 seconds. It seems like guesswork on the twists and turns here. Let's see.
And there hasn't, so far, there haven't been the most competitive rider during the race. So
no, maybe we'll get an overall one at the end of it. Here's Luke Platt just doing his job, the Australian champion, with his golden shoulders, just bringing up Ethan Hayter. Good finish for Ethan Hayter today.
Yes, I imagine so. He want to take bonus seconds and maybe take over the race lead, and that would be the kind of most sensible thing to do, looking at how this has panned out. Magnus Sheffield isn't secure in that lead, and with Viviani and Ethan Hayter as two fast men, they have that option of hopefully taking bonus seconds, and then Ethan Hayter can be a more established lead over his rivals.
Time to bring it home then today. Have you made your pick for today?
Yeah, I went with Campbell Stewart.
I can't remember who I went for. I think I went for Parasini, didn't I?
Yes.
Thank you. Hate to be accused of anything untoward. Here is UNOX Pro Cycling then, and they're still doing a brilliant job. I was told off for calling him that it's UNOX Pro Cycling, not X Pro. Well, all right, just put a hyphen in there or a comma. Help me out. But anyway, yeah, UNOX are doing the job. I'm very fond of them, by the way. I went to the Arctic race as well, which is their home race. Absolutely loved it. Meanwhile, this man, can he? Probably not, but it's going to be great fun watching him have a try. He's on the downhill run, and in about a couple of kilometres' time, he's on the circuit.
He is, and I imagine that's his objective, to wave to the... Maybe he's got family at the finish, and he's going to wave to them as he goes through, but there is some amount of pressure on the front of the peloton from UNOX that he's not going to last long in front.
Certainly looks that way. We'll get a definitive gap for you once they cross the start-finish line of our final lap. So once again, we join the circuit with 500 metres of it to go, as it will be for the final time of asking. So they'll see the last 500 metres, then they'll hear the bell, and then they'll complete 17.5 kilometres of out-and-out racing. Once again, a blue jersey is on the back of Tobias Lund. He owns that. Magnus Sheffield is our leader in red. Abramson is in green. Don't forget, Gal Glaivar is wearing the white jersey on behalf of Magnus Sheffield, who owns the red jersey and white in this race. This man, it's a shame there isn't a combativity award, because he's doing a fantastic job, using every car, bike, anything he possibly can. And like a time trialist, he knows how to thread a road, doesn't he?
He does. He'll know the peloton are coming. If the team, they're pulling the race cars out of the gap, so his time is limited. But we're onto the circuit now, so we'll get a time gap as he crosses the line.
So here we go. He just meets. Are we absolutely on the circuit? Was that the right-hander?
Yeah, so that was a right-hander.
So there will be 18 kilometres left once he crosses the line. Apologies. So you're going to see the last twists and turns. That was the turn at 500. Here is the left-hander. It's kind of a lazy but high-speed left-hander, isn't it? To 300. Not quite finished with it just yet, because the road does waver a little bit here. So it's a gentle right-hander that takes us to the line, and he will take the bell. You can hear it tinkling.
So it's definitely not 45 seconds. He had about 25 as they came around that entrance onto the circuit.
Here we go then. We'll get it out the line. So clock's rolling for you right now. and it says 50 seconds, and we'll tell you whether that's a lie or not. The bell is tolling upon them, and it's a very narrow margin, so I'm glad we ignored the clock. It is 18 seconds. So there you go. Ignore the clock. 18 seconds only, I'm afraid, to Fran Miholjevic.
And there's already splits in the peloton.
There are.
Just from those corners of that general turn is just creeping in at the back. And, it looks like those riders are going to be lost now.
Big drive, this. That's Abramson in the green jersey. It's not for him today. It is for Alexander Kvitsov. For Juno X. Now then, looking just behind, dropping in, as you saw, for T, Ethan Hayter. Now, is he going to get up, or are they going to just have Viviani win it today? It'd be foolish not to, and there's your answer. Ethan Hayter is doing the pacing at the moment. That was Luke Rowe just behind. Are they doing this for Viviani?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Normally we see Luke Rowe in front of Ethan Hayter, so
yeah,
kind of this way around. Maybe they're trying to confuse us a little bit.
Possibly. It has been known. Magnus Sheffield might feel he can get up for this. There's Aular in the yellow jersey, much more yellow about it than the Australian champions jersey of Luke Plapp. Aular is the Venezuelan champion. We'll get to him in a moment. Still says 41 seconds. You can almost transpose those two numbers.
I think it's going to be something like 10 or 12
Yes,
now.
exactly. I was thinking 14, playing with those numbers. This man, well, he's played with us today, but I'm afraid apologies for that clock in error on the top of your screen. It certainly is not that gap at all, and they can see him. They've got a clear view, so their job is done. It's still quite draggy, isn't it?
It is. As most of this race has been, the profile doesn't really suit the reality of what happens out there on the road, and it's kind of just averaged it up. Probably too difficult to for every little kick in the road.
Yeah. 16 kilometres from home then, and ignore the gap. It's down to about 10 seconds, and we'll see the rest of that. Gosh, this is your holiday home, the old town in. I did have it written down. Ozal. The L and the J are almost not pronounced, apparently. Ozal. Anyway,
The finish time.
that's it. And here we go. So 15.5 kilometres. They finally stripped the clock out, so it was no good to anybody. And I think all credit to him. They'll want to bring him out on stage and suddenly invent a combativity award, or wish they had, because our national time trial champion of Croatia has done a good job, hasn't he?
He has. Maybe there's been a prize for the first Croatian over the line.
Possibly.
And, we can speculate on what that prize would be.
Yeah.
It's fairly rural, so it could be something with legs.
Indeed. Well, I've got two, but I can't spin them this quickly. 15 Ks to go then. Right. So we're heading out of town. We'll cut down towards a river and then follow the river almost all the way back. That will be, once we cut through this woodland section, I believe, on the left-hand side. So we're not that far away from making the turn. I always feel sorry for breakaway riders when they're at a moment such as this. You kind of, it's like being a boxer and you've lost every single round. You've still got to come out for the final round, and you think, oh, really? Yeah, it's about showing a bit of spirit at moments such as this.
And the worst thing now is that he gets caught just at a really crucial moment where there's a really steep hill, and he'll go straight through the back of the peloton. That's probably the worst thing that can happen to you in this situation.
Luckily, there's no climbing remaining, because we're heading down towards the river, which will take us home.
Looks like Jaco are kind of moving up to keep themselves in a decent position here.
Neither of us picked Campbell Stewart today.
Yes, you did. I did.
I'll pick him out.
You've tested me, aren't you?
I'm just thinking that's going to be the winner. Did I pick Campbell Stewart? No, he didn't. All right.
You've went with Nicola Parsini again.
Come on, Nico. He's gonna do a job. He did us a fantastic favour the other day of really livening the race up, which was brilliant. And what was a very quiet day, it was a bawdy finish, and I think we're going to get one again today. Problem for Campbell Stewart is positioning. So, and indeed, when he launches his sprint, don't go too early. He needs to keep his powder dry.
Yeah, he does. So Jonas Gregoire on the front.
Mind you, he was late last time, wasn't
for
he?
UNOX, yeah.
Beg your pardon.
So quite often that happens, So if you kind of mess up and you go too late, then you go too early. Tend to go too early. It's all a matter of confidence when you're sprinting. And quite often we see that sprinters who haven't had a win for a while, they'll panic and go slightly too early. Whereas the really confident riders will wait, and then they know that in the last 100 meters or so they're coming past.
Well, here's your man who did such a good job. He is slightly out of the back at the moment. Picking it up here for UNOX. It's Fred Verne, Norwegian champion. He's on the front right now. And they're clearly the wheels to follow. Christoph looming large as he always does. Luke Rowe now has taken on the driving duties for Ineos Grenadiers. Still think their chosen man will be Ethan Hayter. First and foremost, of course, they've got to look after Magnus Sheffield just in case.
Yeah, so they've got kind of two options. They'll have a bit of respect that they've got the race leader Magnus Sheffield, but also everybody knows that they've got two chances with Viviani and Hayter. And Ineos have got such a collective here that they're strong enough to kind of move up when they want. All they need is Josh Tarling to make an appearance on the front, and everybody knows what's happening to them then.
Well, there's Ethan Hayter just rolling through now. So he's doing. He's got Josh Tarling on his wheel. It is Luke Rowe. A little bit of elbowage coming out. I think this is a three-manner because of a short lead out, if you will. And he's screaming, Luke Rowe, get on my wheel. Where are you? Yeah, finally gets there.
So they're just going to let Jo Jensen from Jacob right on the front at the moment before they feel like they're going to pounce when there's a moment too, where it's crucial to hold that front position.
UNOX still going for it. Bit of a bless you and a sneeze going on there from Jacob Alula. Aular is going freestyle by the looks of things. His Kaya Roral teammates are absent from helping him. So he is just embedded upon the shoulder here of Magnus Sheffield. Green jersey here is Jonas Abramson. That's not a points jersey. That's the King of the Mountains. Looking for Lund. There he is. The blue jersey is just at the head of a phalanx of DSM riders. I think they might be thinking about the overall, but let's see. And it's starting to mix and mash here, and it's Ekipov, Kern Farmer and Yolo Kometa that are committed. Yolo, more central position on the road, and two trains side by side at the moment with Ineos and UNOX with 10Ks to go. Anyone else want to join the party? Gal Glaivar is up there from Adrian Mobile, bringing that white jersey up, and you can see the men with the silver surface here as for Q365 working for Parasini, about to make a turn.
Yeah, so they're going to take a left-hander, probably going to be a small road. Otherwise, there'd be no real reason for this amount of fight. And they're sure enough back onto the small roads. There's bound to be a slightly more technical now, a couple of corners, and maybe a couple of little rises to pay attention on.
There's a little shilly-shally again. There's another right-hander to take them down to the river. There it is, just around the trees here. So they'll disappear from view from a few, as they do. A little bit of a squeeze point. Every time you get to a turn, you're going to lose a bit of width from proceedings. A few other riders just getting themselves back on here. Some of those have been busy earlier today as well. Meanwhile, they're all looking to reassemble themselves after the shenanigans of coming through those twists and turns. Sheffield's in a good place. There's Parasini. He's almost, no, don't look at me. I'm just having a drink. I love that. How will he function today? Possibly at the highest. He's got teammates around him as well. And they're all having a bit of a chit-chat as to how the approach is going to be made. Q365 have made a big noise in this race already, and they may want to make another one. Dial in on the radio, just try and call your team up. Bahrain slightly out of position at the moment. Mati Mohoric will be engaged with the sprint. Took something yesterday, would like to take something more today. So, it's kind of nervous moments.
You could just see the Iola rider there in the front saying, you've got the front now, we can calm down because nobody can come past. I'm just kind of wondering if there's been some kind of incident and they're waiting for riders who've had some kind of crash or technical, because it seemed kind of strange that he was trying to calm things down and just lessen the pace just slightly. Now that there's a kind of block across the front of the peloton with basically the workers.
Last drinks at the Bidon bar, as you saw, and that was Campbell Stewart. Extraordinarily fast finishing, the fastest finisher of stage 1, but was way out of position. It looks like Jaco are alive to that threat and will get him into a much better position. Jules Janssen takes a drink here, dispatches the bottle. Just behind him is Postelberger, who always delivers. And that is, of course, Campbell Stewart himself, number 45. And guess who's on his wheel? It's Aular, who could take the lead of this race overall if things go his way. Aular is running only 1 second behind Magnus Sheffield there in the red jersey. I'm still not sure whether it's for Magnus Sheffield today. It certainly will be down to 3 kilometres to go. Or the green jersey, if you might, for Abramson. That's the King of the Mountains jersey. Shouldn't be a feature today, but might well be in the drive. He's part of the short lead-out train, both he and Louis Bendixen, for Alexander Kristoff, who's been dropped off in a good position before and unfortunately failed to deliver. He was third on stage 1, don't forget. He was third on stage 2. I'm calling him Richard soon. Let's hope he has a better run of things today.
Yeah, it's a definite calm here. So something must have happened in the back for there to be a slight truce between the teams that are across the front.
Well, Dinham, don't forget, Matt Dinham is only 8 seconds down for DSM. He's their best placed rider. He's just getting himself back in. I'm not quite sure what the issues may or may not have been. They're leaning it into these corners as we continue to sort of just edge on these flatlands near where the river is. Hasn't caught sight of the river, but it does loop away from them at this point, and it will rejoin us here with about 4 kilometres to go. We'll see the river once again as it meanders its way back. There's Viviani in second wheel, and it looks like Viviani is here to lead out Ethan Hayter by the looks of things. Let's see. Viviani embedded. Well, I'm not sure actually which way that's going to go.
So Viviani's kind of on the back of the back of the string. So
just drung out of that. So
definite truce for the moment.
Yeah.
We haven't picked up what happened there, but it's a lot of kind of main riders speaking to the back to the directors sportifs in the cars to find out whatever happened.
There's a lot of radio work at the moment. Luke Rowe here, just holding station, having a quick chat to Plapp. They're looking over as well. They're having conversations across the front. Well, this is a lockdown, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can see how it's bunched up. It's not really that. The pressure definitely isn't on. There's too much freewheeling to go on for this to be kind of normal race pace inside the last 10 kilometres.
Well, Viviani's not part of the proceedings up front at the moment. Connor Swift getting himself into position. We have number 12, Luke Rowe here. And indeed, Ethan Hayter's just rolled in front of Luke Rowe, just for now. Viviani is not part of this front proceedings as it stands. Nervous times.
Yeah, I think we are more nervous than the riders are. I think it definitely looks like they're waiting for something. They're all going to pounce for the next corner. There was that fight for position, and as so often happens, the riders who fought for that to get beyond the front, they're suddenly out of breath and they cannot take it easy and mob the front.
Well, they are at the moment 5 wide. Some calm times. Let's have a look what's going on back here. It's Matt Dinham. Bike change for him. That's not good. Maybe that's why. Is this from earlier on? Has he been riding on with a problem? instant change. Dinham 8 seconds down overall, running as we stand in 5th place. It's in good company. There's a few others. Yola Kometa with Eric Vetter. That's who they are working for, their principal. He's also only 8 seconds down. Akipo Kern Farmer, it's for Barreda. He is very well placed as well, Oko Barreda. He's also only 8 seconds down. So there's a few here that have got a lot to lose.
Yeah, you can see Matt Dinham trying to make his way back up to the front again before the pace picks up. From there, he's going to have to be quite skillful to maybe have to do a bit of cyclocross to get nearer the front.
Well, there's a few chops and changes here, but Mati Mohoric is getting himself up. If it is a bit of a skirmish, Mohoric, great bike handler, he'll go strongly.
He will, and his confidence will be up now that he's won the stage. They said yesterday that they were going to win that stage, stage 4. Or was it stage 4? No, stage 5 yesterday. No, stage 4, around 5-6 days. So their plan went to, perfectly. They haven't really said what they're going to do. Maybe they'll be quite happy with that.
Bahrain with the blue sleeve and shorts caps, as you can see, just bouncing away at the moment, working for Mati Mohoric quite clearly. Some smiles, actually, with only 5 kilometres to go. Shows you how relaxed it is. Ethan Hayter just tightening his shoes, bootstraps, you might say. No sign of Elia Viviani. Oh, there he is, number 13, wearing his numbers just straight up. I don't think they're working for him. It should be for Hayter, but Viviani may be allowed to go freestyle and do what he wants. What do you think?
I think they're going to. Ineos tend to stick to a plan. Even if it's plan B, they usually have a couple of options, and it really does take the first plan, that plan A, to fall apart before they even think about going to plan B.
Well, let's have a look. Magnus Sheffield wearing the red jersey is embedded within this group as well. And UnoX, of course, with Alexander Kristoff with the custard-coloured helmets here. Now,
looking at this, it's kind of, there's a silent tension here across the front. That moment there with Luke Rowe talking with Jonas Greygaard. I think he was saying, do you want to ride on the front because there's a little bit of wind, but not that much. You'll be okay.
No thanks. We have a little loop coming up, a strange one through this village, and here we go. Just starting that right now. 4 kilometres from home. Now then, time to bring it in. They're still very cagey. This is I can't remember being this close to the line with this little happening. It's a bit scary Mary. Extraordinarily well placed are Jaco Alula in the blue and white. Here's that run down that we've got now. There is the river that finally rejoins us, that we were mentioning a little earlier. We've more or less break away from it at about the 2.2 kilometres to go marker. Still,
I don't think I've ever seen a bike race for 3.5 Ks to go. And it's going to be slow. A sprint where it's been so kind of, right, we're waiting to pounce, but not quite yet, not quite yet.
Nobody wants to go for it. It is pretty technical. Nobody wants to mess up their season right at the very end, especially when there's all kinds of contracts to be negotiated, as we have already seen. So,
and the thing is you've got Ineos on the left, and then you have Bahrain in the middle, Jaco on the right, and they've got each of those teams have got riders that can kind of do peel-offs into the sprint. So whoever kicks it off first ought to have an advantage.
Well, he may be team principal, Mati Mohoric, but they've got 2 fast men here with Borati and Govetska. Now, Borati's been favoured ahead of Govetska, but I think possibly switching the other way today, because there's very little for Mohoric to get out of it, apart from another stage win in terms of the overall. Will they share the love within the team, do you think?
I think they just take what they can get today.
Yeah.
Looking at it, they Mohoric is fast, but he's not as fast as the real sprinters here. And kind of look at how Ineos are set up. Well, here we go. So Tarling takes it up.
He does. Tarling, super time trialist. Luke Rowe's staying with it. Luke Rowe, how much assistance? And in fact, the pincer movement here with Luke Plapp coming through just ahead of Luke Rowe. And it's almost a blocking manoeuvre at the moment. This is clever work by Ineos Grenadiers. Now, if they can hit all the apexes, this, I mean, what a gift this will be. They could drive this all the way home. They've pounced.
They can, so they've pounced right at just the right moment. And George Tarling can do a kilometre at this speed, and then up to the other guys to do about 500 metres each. And they're going to leave their men in perfect position if they can boss this.
Look at the panic behind to get onto this this string. Aular is there, so is Parasini. Looks like Stewart might well have just missed out ever so slightly. He's being guided up right now. It takes a long time for this to unwind, and still Tarling is absolutely tanning everybody for the time being. 1,800 metres to go. This is clever work. This is precisely what they needed to do. They've come round a focused left-hander. They'll drive this one as far as they possibly can. And a big old drive right now for Alexander Kristoff, who honestly just comes up alongside, being brought in here by his lead-out man, Jonas Abramson. And in fact, that's all he's got. Whoa, a little bit of a nudge there on Ethan Hayter. And if you're going to go shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Alexander Kristoff, you're likely to lose out.
Yeah, and that was Matthew Mohoric just kind of squeezed Ethan Hayter in between himself and Alexander Kristoff. And Ethan Hayter being slightly smaller than him, he's going to be the one that does the bouncing.
Well, it's Mohoric all on his lonesome at the moment for Bahrain, wearing number 1. As up upon his shoulder comes Alexander Kristoff. Mohoric lights it up. He goes for it. It's Ethan Hayter who's following him. Just sits back down in the saddle right now. And here, a quick look over the shoulder by Postelberger. And he can't find Campbell Stewart, who's absolutely disappeared. There's a big turn coming up. Aular's in the mix here. Parasini hasn't lit it up just yet. Wait for this turn. Here it is. And a big one, 500 metres to go, and it's away, and they're off the leash. We've got a big crash. Well, Sheffield has gone down. The race leader, unfortunately, they've got to carry on here. Sheffield's going to be out of this one. There is Kristoff just embedded. Here comes Parasini on the barriers, looking through as well, just trying to pick out a few others for you. We have, there is Aular just behind the big screen that is Kristoff. Kristoff's got to be tempted to go for it right now. He must not be mugged by Aular, who comes in on his back wheel. Others coming to join the fray as well. Tim Thunberg. Here comes Parasini up the centre of the road. Oh, the blue jersey of Tobias Lund is also in the frame here. Who's going to have it? Aular hits the front. Oh, this is amazing. Will he possibly get there after such a long wait on the throw? He takes it just ahead of Kristoff, who was very fast finishing. My goodness, what a finale that was. The Venezuelan champion comes good. He's had so much promise for so long, and he brings it home today.
Yeah, and Alexander Kristoff found himself on the front just at the wrong time. 300 metres to go. And kind of looking around for the wheel he wanted to lead him out, and just didn't have the kick left to come past Alouar there on the line.
Wow, how fantastic is that? Paulus Aular. It's been a long time coming. He's had some great finishes in La Vuelta. Finally, he's got this win. Second behind Jeffrey Soup on stage 7 of